entire world. It's a narrow sea passage that connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. Think of it as a small doorway for a very large house. Many countries in the Middle East like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar use this strait to ship their oil and gas to the rest of the world. In fact, more than a quarter of all the world's oil travels through this tight channel. If this vital route is blocked, it can cause major problems for everyone. The flow of energy that powers our homes, cars, and businesses could be choked off, leading to chaos in the global economy and impacting people's daily lives everywhere. This small stretch of water has always been a point of tension, especially because of its location right next to Iran. For years there have been worries that Iran might try to close the strait during a crisis. The country's navy has built up a significant presence there, using a series of islands as military bases. These islands, like Abu Musa and the Tunba Islands, are part of what experts call an arch defense. This strategy allows Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, to place missile launchers, radar stations, and fast-attack boat bases directly overlooking the shipping lanes. The strategic importance of this location means that any conflict there can escalate quickly and have far-reaching consequences for international security and trade. The world depends on the safe passage of ships through this strait. Day and night, massive tankers carrying millions of barrels of oil and container ships loaded with goods move through these waters. Any disruption can send shockwaves through financial markets. The price you pay for gasoline is directly linked to the stability of this region, because so much of the global energy supply is at risk. Many nations have a vested interest in keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. This has made the area a focal point for international navies, with the United States and its allies maintaining a constant presence to ensure freedom of navigation for all vessels. The crisis in early 2026 was not a surprise to those who watched the region closely. Tensions had been building for months. Iran, feeling the pressure from international sanctions, decided to use its most powerful lever: its control over the Strait of Hormuz. The country's leaders believed they could force the world to listen by threatening to shut down this critical artery of global commerce. They prepared their forces, including their specialized fast boats and a large stockpile of sea mines. The stage was set for a dangerous confrontation that would test the resolve of the international community and showcase a new era of modern warfare. In a bold and dangerous move in early March 2026, Iran attempted to make its threat a reality. The IRGC began to aggressively mine the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. They used advanced sea mines like the Maham 3 to create invisible and deadly obstacles for any ship trying to pass. At the same time, swarms of small, fast-attack boats patrolled the area, enforcing the blockade. These boats would speed toward commercial vessels, ordering them to turn back or face attack. At the peak of the crisis, the number of ships passing through the strait dropped from dozens per day to just 3. The world's oil lifeline was suddenly being squeezed shut by Iran's military actions. The impact on the global economy was immediate and severe. With the flow of oil suddenly in doubt, prices skyrocketed. U.S. crude oil prices jumped by over 50%, climbing past $100 a barrel. The price for Brent crude, en escalated 5% done, and is standards. En een third en strijd bouw, en een naai danser, volse ben subvention danster, and as Stalman Netchmark soared even higher to over $110 a barrel. This sudden spike in cost was felt all around the world, threatening to drive up inflation and slow down economic growth. Iran's blockade wasn't just a military action. It was an economic attack that targeted every country reliant on global energy. At least 21 commercial vessels reported being attacked, and the fear of sailing through the strait brought shipping to a near standstill. Iran's actions were not just aimed at the West. In a surprising move, the IRGC even turned back 2 large container ships owned by a Chinese state company. This showed that Iran was willing to disrupt trade for everyone, including nations it usually had better relations with. An IRGC-affiliated news outlet then made a formal announcement. It declared a ban on all ship traffic to and from the ports of any nation that supported the United States and Israel. This was a clear escalation, an attempt to isolate its adversaries and punish anyone who stood with them. The message was clear. Iran was in control of the strait, and it would decide who could and could not pass. This blockade was a direct challenge to the entire world. By using asymmetric tactics, cheap, fast boats and hidden mines against giant, expensive tankers, Iran hoped to create a situation too risky and complicated for other navies to handle. The IRGC's naval commander, Admiral Alireza Tangsiri, directed the operation from his headquarters, confident that their knowledge of the local waters and their unconventional methods would give them the upper hand. For a few tense days, it seemed their gamble might be working. The world watched and waited, wondering how the United States and its allies would respond to this direct threat to global order. The United States and a coalition of 22 other nations did not wait long to answer Iran's challenge. They launched a swift and powerful military campaign called Operation Epic Fury. The goal was simple: to dismantle Iran's blockade and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The response was not just a naval operation. It was a multi-domain effort that combined air power, sea power, and groundbreaking new technology. The coalition made it clear that it would not allow a single nation to hold the global economy hostage. The operation began with a series of precise and overwhelming airstrikes aimed at crippling Iran's ability to sustain its blockade. A key part of the operation involved targeting the IRGC's command structure and military assets. In a major blow to Iran, a targeted strike in the city of Bandar Abbas eliminated Admiral Alireza Tangsiri, the commander of the IRGC's navy. This single action fractured Iran's naval command and created confusion among its forces. At the same time, coalition air forces unleashed powerful new weapons. The GBU-72, a 5,000-pound bunker-buster bomb, made its combat debut, destroying hardened underground missile sites that Iran had built in its mountains. In just one night, U.S. Central Command reported that 90% of Iran's coastal anti-ship missile stockpile had been eliminated. On the water, the coalition fought fire with fire, but with a technological twist. To counter Iran's swarms of fast attack boats, the U.S. deployed A-10 Warthog and AH-64 Apache attack aircraft. These planes used their powerful cannons and Hellfire missiles to systematically dismantle the IRGC's small boat fleet. But the most innovative part of the response was the use of autonomous systems. The U.S. deployed new Gark drone boats, which were 5-meter-long robotic vessels driven by artificial intelligence. These unmanned boats patrolled the strait for hundreds of hours, detecting threats and, in some cases, conducting kamikaze attacks to intercept and destroy Iranian craft. The international coalition played a crucial role. While the U.S. focused on offensive strikes, the British Royal Navy led the effort to clear the mines. Instead of sending sailors into dangerous waters, they used robotic underwater drones to find the mines Iran had laid. These drones would locate a mine and then trigger a controlled detonation from a safe distance, clearing paths for ships to follow. The combined effort of airstrikes, robotic warfare, and allied cooperation quickly broke the back of Iran's blockade. As U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth bluntly stated, Iran no longer has a navy or a naval commander. Thanks to the decisive actions of the international coalition, the immediate crisis was brought under control. The Strait of Hormuz was reopened to commercial shipping. By late March 2026, daily ship transits had rebounded to about 15, a significant improvement from the near-total shutdown just weeks earlier. The success of Operation Epic Fury demonstrated the power of integrated deterrence, where advanced technology, allied unity, and overwhelming military force were combined to defeat a threat. However, as one U.S. admiral noted, while the lock on the strait was no longer closed, the mechanism is shattered. The region was left in a fragile and uncertain state. Despite the coalition's success, significant dangers remain. The operation did not eliminate every threat. Hidden missile launchers may still be concealed in Iran's mountainous terrain, and drone factories could continue to produce new weapons. Most importantly, the waters of the Strait and the Persian Gulf may still hide uncleared sea mines. These drifting and submerged explosives pose a long-term risk to any vessel navigating the area. The conflict also spread beyond the strait, with Iran-aligned groups launching attacks on Israel and Kuwait, and a devastating strike on Qatar's natural gas facilities that could take years to repair. The fighting left a trail of destruction and displacement across the region. The crisis has left the world with many important questions. The new technologies like the AI-driven drone boats and robotic mine clearers proved to be incredibly effective. But can these systems truly guarantee the long-term safety of the strait? As one side develops new technology, the other side will surely be working on new ways to counter it. This creates a constant cat-and-mouse game where the risk of miscalculation is always high. The success of Operation Epic Fury relied heavily on the ability of 22 different nations to work together toward a common goal. This level of cooperation was impressive, but will it last? As diplomatic talks begin and the world takes stock of the conflict, the future of the Strait of Hormuz remains uncertain. The short, intense war showed that international cooperation and technological superiority can overcome a conventional blockade. But it also highlighted the vulnerability of the global economy to disruptions in a few key locations. The danger is not completely gone, and the world is now left to wonder, what will happen next time? Will nations continue to stand together when their shared interests are threatened? And are we prepared for the next evolution of warfare in these contested waters? The answers will shape the security and prosperity of the entire world for years to come.
What comes next? One thing is certain. The Strait of Hormuz remains the world's most critical choke point, and its security demands constant innovation, unwavering alliance, and strategic foresight.